Good morning, children. Welcome to the English session. Today, we shall deal with the lesson Journey to the End of the Earth by Tishani Doshi. The lesson revolves around the world's most preserved place, Antarctica. Not many people have been there, but out of the few that have, Tishani Doshi is one of them. A South Indian person who went on an expedition with a group of teenagers affiliated with Students on Ice program who takes young minds to different ends of the world. Thus, it gives an insight into how Antarctica is a place you should visit to have a glimpse of the past, present, and the future in its realistic form. In the beginning, the author talks about his journey to one of the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on Earth, Antarctica. He went there on a Russian research vessel known as the Academic Shukalsky. The author is a South Indian man who began his journey from Madras. On his voyage, he crossed nine time zones, six checkpoints, three water bodies, and just as many ecospheres. It took him about 100 hours of combined traveling by car, aeroplane, and then a ship to reach the continent. So, when he first set his feet on the continent, he felt utmost relief, for it was all white as far as the eyes could see. The sight of the blue horizon was also very comforting. Next emotion that followed was that of wonderment. He was astonished by the fact that there was once a time when India and Antarctica were geographically connected. Millions of years ago, there was a supercontinent known as Gondwana, from which Antarctica and India are supposed to have been parted off. The situation, however, is completely different from how it is right now. There were no humans, and the climate was warmer, which gave rise to huge varieties of flora and fauna. Gondwana flourished for 500 million years until dinosaurs got extinct and human beings came into existence. The huge continent was then forced into segregation to form countries and the world as we know of it today. According to the author, if one wants to have a glimpse of history and from where we have originated along with where we are headed, Antarctica is the right place. It is the best place to research and understand about mountain ranges and low elevation continents, ozone and carbon, evolution and extinction. It is capable of giving an insight of the future, and that can be really startling. It was a very different experience for the narrator as being a South Indian sun worshipping man. It was hard for him or anyone else to imagine living in a place where 90% of the Earth's total ice volumes are stored. Not only biologically or physically difficult, but also for the imagination. A place untouched by humans and their inventions. It gives an experience that makes you forget about all the other things. From small creatures like midges and mites to huge creatures like blue whales and icebergs as big as countries. Everything can be found in Antarctica. Days are never ending with sunlight all the time falling on the southern hemisphere. It is such a quiet place, interrupted only by falling mass of snow rapidly down a mountain. It is a setting that forces you to ponder upon Earth's geological history and helps you foresee future, which for humans doesn't seem very pleasant. Human life on Earth has been since petty 12,000 years, which converts into a few seconds on the geological clock. In merely this less time, humans have managed to exploit each and every resource, thereby creating a chaos in the nature. The ever increasing human population is robbing other species of the necessities for survival. Not to forget about the unlimited exploitation of fossil fuels that have created a blanket of carbon dioxide around our planet, which is further increasing the average global temperature, thus leading to global warming. Global warming and climate change are high priority concern these days. Questions like melting of Antarctic sheet, disruption of Gulf Stream ocean, and how the world will end still remains unanswered. Regardless, Antarctica remains an important part not only because it is untouched by humans, but also because of the ice core's half million year old carbon records trapped in its layers of ice. According to the author, if one wishes to study and analyze Earth's past, present, and future, Antarctica is a place to go. The author has been in Antarctica on an expedition with students on ice, a program that takes young minds to the ends of the world, which helps in inspiring them to work towards our planet. It was started with the vision of providing life changing experiences to the future generation of policymakers to learn about the planet at a very early age. The initiative was introduced by Geoff Green, who got tired of his regular job once he got rich and wanted to give it back in some way. The program has been immensely successful in implementing its vision by the way people get affected by seeing the real scenario because it is very easy to sit at home and talk about real issues, but actually seeing glaciers retreating and ice shelves collapsing, it gives you a glimpse into the future. It tells you that the very threat of global warming is real. It is one of those places with limited biodiversity and thus has a less complicated ecosystem. As a result, little changes in its environment can have drastic effects. For instance, the microscopic phytoplankton are grasses of the sea that sustains the entire Southern Ocean's food chain. Now, it has been recently concluded by the scientists that a further depletion in the ozone layer can affect the activities of these single celled plants and affect the marine life altogether. Thus, in this case, the saying comes true: take care of the small things, and the big things will fall into place. For all it took for him to travel from Madras to Antarctica, the nine time zones, checkpoints, and various bodies of water, the author pondered upon the capability of nature to maintain its balance. He wondered what it would be like if Antarctica, the place that houses over 90% of the world's ice, becomes warm again. He wonders if we will be there to see it if it ever happens, but who knows? Thus, by seeing the spirit of teenagers who still are left with the courage to save the world, he talks about the uncertainty of events that can happen over a million years. The story in a gist. For a South Indian man traveling to Antarctica from Madras, it takes nine time zones, six checkpoints, three water bodies, and just as many ecospheres to reach there. Tishani Doshi traveled to the southern end of the earth along with an expedition group named Students on Ice that provides opportunity to the young minds to sensitize towards the realistic version of climatic changes happening in the world. According to the founder of the organization, we are the young versions of future policymakers who can turn the situation around. Antarctica is one of the coldest, driest, and windiest continent in the world. As far as the eyes can see, it is completely white and its uninterrupted blue horizon gives immense relief. It is shocking to believe that India and Antarctica were part of the same supercontinent, Gondwana, that got segregated into countries, giving rise to the globe we know today. Antarctica had a warmer climate until then. Despite human civilization around the globe, it still remains in its pure form. Being a South Indian sun worshipping guy, it was unimaginable for the author to visit the place that constitutes world's 90% of ice, a place so quiet that it is only interrupted by snow avalanches. It is a home to a lot of evidences that can give us a glimpse of the past, and at the same time, Antarctica helps us foresee the future. The place gives an awakening to threatening alarm that global warming is actually real. Who knows if Antarctica will be warm again, and if it does, will we be able to see it? Thus, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you and have a nice day.